Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Tenacious Earl with a check-in here and a live game for the 2008 Phillies Super Advanced As Played Replay. Just as a refresher, if anybody has not or is unfamiliar with this project, the Phillies in the year 2008 were the champions of Major League Baseball, won the World Series, and they are my favorite team. So basically I decided that I would commemorate it by playing out their season in Super Advanced. It's been a bit of an adventure, a few more downs than ups thus far, but I don't know. There's been plenty of ups, and the last few games now they lost their most recent one, but they've taken 2 of 3 from Cincinnati, and they're up against Homer Bailey, whose card is pretty ugly in this one. So, excuse me. So we'll see if the Phillies can win Game 3 of this and pull their record up to 29-33. So they're 28-33 right now, which is 5 games below 500. They had some real struggles, but this series has been pretty decent to them, although they had a tough time in the most recent game against Edinson Volquez. He pitched 7 strong innings to hold them down. They did pick up some runs in the last in the 9th inning, but couldn't quite complete the comeback. Howard struck out with 2 on and 2 out, which would have tied the ball game. So, but that's okay. We'll play this game here, as I said. So this is Reds at Phillies, Game 4 of this series. So a 4-game set. This is a day game, so we'll see if the ball is flying today. It very well could be. The Phillies won this game 5-0 in real life, so I think I'm going to need to probably zoom this a touch. So let's see if I can. There we go. Okay. And let's see what I can do here. Okay. So my inclination. So someone made a comment when I posted the picture of the score sheet about Ryan Friel. When I posted it on the tabletop group on Facebook, and he ended up missing the final 2 games of this series. I'm not sure if he had some kind of an issue, an injury, or what. He wasn't on the roster after this game, or after Game 2 of this series. So I take it he either maybe got hit by a pitch or had some kind of issue that caused him to be put on the DL. And I mean, obviously he had issues as his career went on, and you know, it's worth mentioning that he took his own life a few years ago, and is one of those cases that really, shines a light on the CTE, the concussion syndrome that I can't even say it. But basically, we don't really know a whole lot about it other than to be able to diagnose it after a human, the human has passed away. If they give their brain to research in order to study, like if they have a feeling that this cumulative trauma, encephalopathy, I think that might be the word. I'm not laughing about it, just I'm laughing about the fact I can't say it very well. But that if they have an idea that they have suffered concussions, and they can donate their brain to research, and that research at that point can show that they had it. What they're trying to figure out is tests to prove that someone has it prior to their death, which could be, I think there'd be some controversy as far as that goes, and this is an interesting It's an interesting dilemma that a player would have if he knew that he was developing this condition, and if it's something that it would, could be diagnosed and found out that it gets worse with further trauma, as opposed to, like let's say that a player retired when he was diagnosed with it. If they could find a test that is true, then that player would have a great dilemma, because it's a tough choice. Do you want to give up your calling, the way you make money, especially if you're great at it, but you could also be costing yourself years on the end of your life. But there's also, it's tough to tell, because I think in a lot of these cases, these players are tormented even after the first injury with a variety of symptoms that just don't really go away. So it's just a shame that, and when we go into, physical education class, we all remember that in school, when, we get these disclaimers and warnings saying that, that playing sports can lead to all these, various injuries and such. I mean, it's something that these players live with, and I think you have to respect the way that they play the game, and in such a way that can lead them into a big bunch of harm. So, rest in peace, Ryan Friel. We won't see him in this game here, but definitely a guy who, hopefully, with what he went through, and what others like Junior Seau, for instance, and even some players today, even who are still alive today, who maybe they don't have that diagnosis, but they know what they live with. Hopefully we get to the point where there is some way to, determine that a player has this, or even just a person in real. Let's say someone has a car accident, and that exposes them to head trauma. That maybe then there's a way that you can find some kind of pharmaceutical therapy through drug intervention that could help a person with the depression and other symptoms that come along with this. So let's just hope that happens down the road. But in any event, not to make this too dark and whatnot, but I just thought it was worth mentioning as far as having him in the series. I played the first 3 games offline, and so we didn't get to see it here. So it's going to be Homer Bailey, the pitcher for the Reds, Cole Hamels for the Phillies. The Phillies won 5-0 in 2008 in real life. Hamels, I believe he would have pitched a complete game. He did, yes. Complete game, 3-hitter for the Phillies. So we'll see if he can have so much luck in this one. It'll be Hairston Jr. in center field. He'll be leading off for the Reds. Jay Bruce in left. Ken Griffey Jr. Actually, I should add the junior to both these guys. Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. in right. Brandon Phillips, second base. Joey Votto, probably a future Hall of Famer, I would imagine. First base, Edwin Encarnacion at third. Paul Janish, shortstop. David Ross, who won a World Series with the Cubs in 2016. He's catching. And Homer Bailey, the pitcher. And for the Phillies, all of these guys here have won World Series with the Phillies, and Chase Utley, who will bat third for the Phillies, is still involved in the current. He's going to the World Series with the Dodgers that will start here in a couple days. I think later today is the 7th game of Astros and Yankees. Astros hosting that. So I don't think any of the players are in that game in this lineup. But Rollins at short will lead off. Victorino center field. Chase Utley second base. Howard at first. Berlin left, Jenkins in right, Felice third base, Ruiz catching, and Hamels pitching. A pretty standard lineup for the Phillies. And we need to check our weather conditions here So it's a day game in June. We finally did get to June, so it's a 20. So it's going to be a tough day for the hitters as far as versus normal conditions. It'll be home runs will be 11s for both sides, and then an 8 and a 5 for lefties and 5 for righties on the singles, and we are ready to go. So to lead it off, we have Jerry Hairston going up against Cole Hamels. Got to remember here for the Reds hitters, we have to read off the left-handed side of the card. 5-9 against a righty, and he could lead off with a home run on a 1-8. Wouldn't that be something? It's a 14, so that will be a double for Hairston Jr. And right off the bat, the Reds, I think, have gotten a run in the first inning of every game of this series. So Jay Bruce, at the very least, looking to try and move that runner to third. 2-5, and he strikes out on the left side. So 1 out. Let's see. Hairston Jr. Let's see. Hamels is a 0. Ruiz -1. So that makes that a 1-8. We're not going to try getting Hairston a chance to steal here. So Griffey Jr. 4-6 against the lefty. That is a strikeout. So 2 down. And it brings up Brandon Phillips. And a 5-4 against a righty. That's a catcher X. Catcher is Ruiz, 2-E2. 2 and a 6. And then an 11. So that will be 2 and a 6. That's a potential passed ball, which would move Hairston to third. Now what we have to do is go from Hamels' wild pitch rating. That's the way that we play this. On the PP, the super advanced rules for you would roll this and use the wild pitch rating of Hamels, but instead, let me see. If a passed ball does not occur, the batter pops out to the catcher, and that will end the inning. So no runs for the Reds. So what I did there was, it's a PP, which means passed ball if there's a runner on. You check for a passed ball based on the pitcher's wild pitch rating. It's to try and use a factor of the pitcher's control and wildness. And because Hamels does not throw many wild pitches off his own card, then that will be not a passed ball, which means it's a pop out, and that inning is over, or that half of the inning. So to the bottom of the first, and it will be Jimmy Rollins leading off against Bailey. We will read from the right side of the hitter's card. And a 2-7 is a grounder to first, and Votto will run to the bag for out number 1. Shane Victorino. 3-5, and that's a grounder to the pitcher. See, now if they had a 2-7 on Victorino's card, 3-5 wouldn't have done it here, but the 2-7 on Victorino's card would have been good, but instead it's a 3-5. It'll be a grounder to Bailey for out number 2, and they sure could use some rolls off of Bailey's card here. His card is not so great. And there's a 5-6 against a lefty, and that is a potential home run for a normal hitter. There we go, 1-15 home run. Will Utley do it? It's an 8. It is gone. Home run. Chase Utley out of here. 1-0 Phillies. High Strat Classic Baseball. So now Ryan Howard. Still 2 outs. 1-0 Phillies. That is a 2-6. He will draw a walk, and it will bring up Pat the Bat with a runner on first and 2 outs. 4-9 against a righty and another walk. So back-to-back bases on balls, and it'll be Jeff Jenkins with 2 outs. 2-12, and 2-12 against a righty would be, this would load the bases if it's a 1-15. It's a 6, so the bases will be loaded. They can't advance any further. So the Phillies knocking on the door here. And Pedro Feliz, who is normal power against a righty. Let's see what happens here. And a 1-6 is going to strike out and end the inning, but 1 run across. So Phillies are really good at leaving guys on base. They score some runs, but they also leave a lot of guys on. See, they left when they lost to the Reds 6-4 in the previous game. They left 9 on. So, all right, needed to wet the whistle. So Joey Votto starting off the second here for the Reds, down 1-0. Hey Jerry, 2-7, and that'll be a fly ball to center field that will be caught by Victorino, and that'll be out number 1. Encarnacion, there's a 2-6. That's a grounder to short. So again, 2-7. Let's see, the 2-6 on this card is a 1-17 single, and the 2-7 over here is a single. So if those roles were reversed, the Reds would be in business. But instead, it's Paul Janisch with 2 outs. And that's a 3-6, which will be a single. We'll see if they can get the turning lineup over Paul Bacco, the catcher. Janisch, he doesn't have a steal rating, so he can't go. 2 outs, 3-9, and he strikes out. So Hamels gave up 3 hits in the actual game. He's already given up 2 in this one. So, and they were both leadoff hits, and neither of them came in to score. So, all right, bottom of the 2. And it'll be Chooch leading off here for the Phils against Bailey. And a 4-6 against a righty. That's a grounder to second. Brandon Phillips, a 1-E8. That's a 3. He's going to... Oh, and there's a 4. I don't know if he'll make the play now. Jerry says go Phillies. So a E8 and a 4. At second base. No error. And a 1. That's a G2. If they were holding somebody on base, that would be a problem. Because there's a pound sign there. But all right, so it'll be Hamels using pitcher's hitting card number 3. 5-9. He's batting from the left side. And that'll be a pop out to Votto for out number 2. And it's J-roll back to the top of the order. There's a 3-7, and it's a fly ball to center. And that'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Homer Bailey. Kind of feel like in this game, the more that the Phillies play off of their cards, their hitting cards, the more they're going to keep the Reds in it. Because Bailey's card is got some goodies. So it'll be Bailey leading off the inning here. A 5-7. He is batting from the right side. That'll be a fly ball to Victorino. He'll make the catch. Jerry Hairston. And a 1-8. That'll be a single. 2 for 2 for Hairston. He's going to try to get a lead here. Needs a 5 or a 6 to get it. He gets a 12, so he could still steal with the second number, but you're going to subtract 4 from it. Which, with Ruiz, that would be, you subtract 5. So that makes it 1-8. He's going to sit still. It'll be Jay Bruce with Hairston at first. 1 out. 2-7. And that'll be a ground ball to second. And that's going to set up the double play. Rollins will turn it. Howard gets him in time. And so there you go. The Reds still can't get much going there. And I mean, that might be the reason why you would want to steal with Hairston, would be to break that potential up, even though you might get him out on a 1-8. Victorino leading off 4-8 against a lefty, and he will single. See, Bailey a +9. Guess what? Victorino is going to try to get a lead here. He may go anyway. And a 7, he does not get a lead, but he is a 14 as the second number, so that makes him a 10 after you subtract the 4. But Bailey's +9, so the most you can be is +5. So that makes it and Ross is 0, so that makes it a 1 to 15 chance. He's going to try to steal. Actually, no. We're going to use that to our advantage here, and Utley is a B hit and run guy. They're holding him on, so he's going to be A. So this is going to be a hit and run chance for the Phils. And a 6-6, so we go off the pitcher's card with some. That's a double. And if you look here at for an A double is a double with 3 stars. So that regardless, Victorino will score. So second run in, it's 2-0. So they get Victorino moving, and it helps them score their second run. Ryan Howard with Utley at second, nobody out. That's a 6-11 against a lefty. Ballpark single, 1-8 for a lefty, and it's a 9. So that will be a line out to Phillips, and that's out number 1. Utley doesn't have a good second number. The only way we could potentially steal is if we didn't hold him on. And I don't. That's a tough call. I guess they have to hold him on. So we're playing that he's being held. Burrell at the plate. There's a 4-5. That's a walk. They're still going to hold Utley on for Jeff Jenkins. And that's a 6-6 again against a lefty. This ball is hit well. It is long, and it is gone. Jeff Jenkins tattoos it. And the Phillies take a 5-0 lead here in the third. The 6-6. Normal power against a right-handed pitcher. You can see it here. And the Phillies are cruising at this point. Felice, still with 1 out. 4 runs across the inning, 5-3 against a righty. That's a grounder to short. And that'll be an out. You see the dot there. The reason he is not... he still has his stuff because you have to add. If he were to get 1 more run given up in this inning, he would have lost his stuff. But with 4, it's not a problem. And if it were over the 3 innings, it has to be 7. So you add a run for each inning. So Ruiz with 2 outs. That's a 2-4. That's a fly ball to left. So the Phillies got some rolls off of Homer Bailey's card, and that has helped them out quite a bit. So top of the 4th. Phillies in control. 5-0. And it'll be Griff, who struck out in his first at bat. 5-6 against a lefty. And guess what? He's going to strike out a second time. Phillips. 5-6 against a righty. That is a fly ball to right, and that will be caught. Out number 2. And Joey Votto. And there's a 3-9, and he strikes out. So Hamels sets him down 1-2-3. So Hamels will lead off for the Phillies here in the bottom of the fourth. That's a 5-4 against a lefty. Grounder to short. That is Yanish, a 3E21, and a 20. Well, and it could be an error. Let's see, a 21 and a 16. Nope. Nope, he is in the clear. 15 and 17. So he'll make the play. Yanish will. 1 out. J-roll. 0 for 2. He's actually, he was 0 for 4 before he got a single there in the 9th inning last game. I was going to say he's been in a bit of a slump lately. Love to break out of it here. 3-7. And a 3-7 is going to be a fly ball to center. That's the second time he's had that roll in a row. That'll be 2 outs. Victorino 1 for 2 on the day. 3-11. It's a grounder to Votto, and he will underhand to Bailey. And Bailey has his second 1-2-3 inning of the game. Unfortunately, the first and the third were not so inviting. Okay, so top of the fifth. The Reds will get Herrera is no longer on the team. So they had to, Bailey was activated, and they sent down Danny Herrera, who was a lefty, off the bench. Now they're going to get Jeremy Felt warming up in case Bailey comes up to bat. Encarnacion leads off. Hey, Steven. That's a 3-10 against a lefty pitcher. And that's a ballpark single chance for a righty, 1-5. And it's a 2. 4th hit of the game for the Reds. That's really what they need, is to start chipping away. Here's Yanish. Against a lefty, he's serviceable. I'm wondering if they should... You hate giving away an out here when you're down by 5. So, but there's a 1 on the D20, which would mean wild pitch, but Hamels doesn't give him up, so we just keep rolling. 6-5 against a righty. Grounder to short. This could be a double play ball. They're not holding Encarnacion. He's no threat to runs, so, right? Well, he's, no threat. No, 1's a wild pitch. 1's a wild pitch. 2, for the batter, 2 is... you have to roll a D6. 1 through 3 is balk check, and 4 through 6 is a passed ball check. So, now what was I up to? Oh, Rollins not having to hold the runner on. 1E8. It's an 11. Let's see if that gets him the G1. Yeah, it does. So that's the double play ball. And with a 12, he's not going to commit an error. This will be a 6-4-3. It's okay, Steven. I know you're rooting against him. Wait, that's not the end of the inning. What am I doing? He's like, let it be a pass ball. Come on. Send that thing to the backstop. And here's Baco, 5-12 against a lefty. Grounder to third. So here's Felice, 2E12. There's a 12 and a 13. Let's see if the E12 and a 13 is a problem. Nope. He makes the play. So, 4 hits given up. It's kind of a... It kind of stinks when you know that a pitcher has given up only like 3 hits in real life, because now it's like Hamels makes you feel disappointed in the fact he's given up 4 already. But with the 50-50 makeup of the way that Strat runs their games, that's just you're rarely going to be able to have that work out the way that it does in real life. That'll be a grounder to Brandon Phillips, and he will throw to first for the out. 1 out. Ryan Howard. 5-7 against a lefty. 1-17 single. And that's a 14. Well, they're trying to get Bailey through this inning, and then they'd pinch hit for him. But, well, we'll see. Burrell is a potential double play guy here, so. That's a 5-7 against a righty. That is a single with 2 stars, and I think that's going to be it for Bailey. Let's see. He is a... in theory, that he could go one more. But with Jenkins coming up, they're going to go ahead and make the switch. And it's going to be a Felt. So Bailey went 4 1/3. And if the manager was ever asked why he put him in, he'd say, because I felt like it. All right, so with Jenkins at the plate, it'll be 1st and 3rd with 1 out. And it's a Felt back out to the mound. So let's see what happens against Jenkins. 2-7. That is going to be a fly ball to center field B. And with a question mark, which means we have a dilemma. Hey, we do. Do we send Ryan Howard? He's a 10. You had 2-12. Center field is Hairston. He's a 0. So that means that there are 2 outs. So you've got to... probably got, with the Felice up, you're probably only about 30% of getting that guy home. Whereas you're about 60 right now with Howard at a 1-12. So they're going to send him, and here is the play at the plate, and he is thrown out. So 8-2, it's just going to be a fly ball to center, and that will end the inning. Jenkins doesn't get it deep enough, and a Felt keeps the Phillies, I put it 1 there, it's a 0. Okay. Keeps the Reds in the game here. Not that a 5-run deficit is keeping it much in the game. All right, so a Felt is going to be pinch hit for here. They're going to get... see, they use Bray and Cordero. You're going to get Mike Lincoln warming up, and they're going to get against a lefty. Who are they going to bring up? They'll bring in Andy Phillips to pinch hit. So Hamels will face Andy Phillips. Once in a group called the Mamas and the Papas. Well, maybe not this Phillips, but so here we go. Phillips against Hamels. Against a righty, 6-5 grounder to Rollins. That's a 7 and a 15. I think he will still make that. That's getting close for an E8. You need a 16, 17, or 18. But Phillips is out. And it'll be Hairston. Actually, I got to put Phillips up here. That's a 1-5 and a 1-5 against a lefty. He's going to be a double. Now, Hairston is a guy who you might... well, with this deficit, they don't really want to be giving outs away, and Jay Bruce is a guy that can bring you home from second very easily. 3-6. And just like that, this is going to be a run. It could be a 1-4. 1-4 would be a 2-run homer. 5-20 would be a double. And it's 16. So that will be an RBI double for Bruce. And the Reds do get on the board. 5-1. And that'll bring up Ken Griffey. The Griff. Another guy. He went yard, in game 2 of this series. There's a 6-7 against a lefty that's grounded to second base. Runner will move up. Utley is able to make the out. And here is Brandon Phillips trying to close the gap to 3. And a 1 potential wild pitch, but no. Hamels does not throw wild pitches off his card, so we just re-roll everything. 4-7 against a righty, and he strikes him out. And Hamels is a 7-inning starter, so we don't have to worry about that for another inning. So 1 run in, and 1 left on base with 2 hits. And once this game is over, I will be going outside to mow the stupid yard because it needs it. So Lincoln, don't call me Abe, coming out here to, I felt went, hold on. Yeah, he got 2/3. So 6th inning, bottom of the 6th, and it will be Lincoln to face Felice, Ruiz, and the Kohlmeister. 5-9 against a righty, and that's a K. Chooch, 5-7, 5-7, grounded to second. Phillips, very competent fielder, will make the play for out number 2. And Hamels, he's going to go ahead and hit. And a 1-8 off of his card. That will be a base hit at least. Could be a double if it's 1-4. It's an 11. So that'll be a single for Hamels. And now if Rollins can get off the schneid here, he's 0 for 3. Love to put a couple more on the board here, the Phillies would. So here we go against Lincoln, 2 outs. That's a 5-8, batting from the left side, fly ball to center field, and Rollins goes 0 for 4, no runs, 1 hit. Can't bring Hamels home. Let me see about Lincoln here. Where is he? Yeah, he can go 2 innings unless his spot comes up here. So Hamels will be up against Votto. The Phillies will get, it's the 7th. They'll get Chad Durbin warming up, just to be sure. And Votto will, all right, I've got to zoom out just a little bit now. Maybe that's a little too much. So Votto will face Hamels. He is 0 for 2. Top of the 7th. 5-1 Phillies. 6-7 against a lefty. Grounded to second. Will Utley make the play? And he does. Double check. He does. On the low side, you need a triple ones there, a 3 to get that as an error. So, double E, Edwin Encarnacion, 4-3 against a righty, grounded to third. Felice, tough play for him. He's a 2. And a 7, he will make the play for out number 2. Let's see, 6 and 3 is 9. Let me make sure. 13, yes. So, Janisch. 2 outs. 1-9, and that's going to be a fly ball to left, and that will end the inning. Potential clutch hit there if there's someone at second there with 2 outs, but instead it goes down as a fly ball out, and Hamels gets through the 7th. They will let Lincoln keep pitching here, trying to save some arms. Bottom of the 7th. Of course, we missed the stretch here. I won't sing tonight. Shane Victorino against Lincoln. That's a 6-5 against, batting from the left side, 6-5. That one is gone. Shane Victorino kills it. It's now 6-1. So the old 6-5 boom shot off of Lincoln's card. Chase Utley, 5-6 against the lefty. That's a grounder to Phillips for out number 1. Ryan Howard, 3-11. Ballpark single chance. Or no, that's a walk. Looking off the wrong side of the card there. And so Pat Burrell with a runner at first. 2-4. 2-4 ballpark single. Opportunity, but for a righty it's 1-5, not very good odds, and it'll be a line out to Yanish for out number 2, and it'll be Jenkins now. That's a 5-4 against the lefty. Fly ball to center field. Hairston, not a good range. 4 and a 7. I think that's going to be a single. The E6 and a 12. I think he'll be able to field it properly, but a 4 and a 7 is a single 2-star. So with Feliz coming up, the Reds are going to make a bullpen call. And they're going to call on, let's see, Jared Burton. So, Lincoln 1 2/3, but trying to keep this at least within distance. So infield back, obviously with 2 outs, and it'll be Pedro Feliz 1-10 against a righty, and it'll be a grounder right back to Burton, and he will make the play. So 1 run for the Phillies, 6-5 or 6-1, 5-run deficit there for the Reds going into the 8th. So let's see. They're gonna keep Durbin warming up here, and they're gonna let him face Baca. Wait, yeah. Whoa, what the hell? That's not good. That's not good. Horse feathers. Horse feathers. Alright, well, guess what? I'm going to put him on the bench, and I'm going to use Ross now, and I will have to figure out how that all plays out. Let's see. That's the thing, is Ross struck out with a runner here. He was up with 2 outs and nobody on here, but that changes the game completely. That sucks. It really sucks because I'm only playing like 1 game out of a series, and it sucks when you make mistakes. Alright, well, let's just move on with this. So it'll be Ross here. We're just going to move on with it. 6-6 against a righty. That'll be a pop out to short. I'm going to go back and watch the video, and I'll clean this up. Hopefully they're both outs, but we'll see. So now a pinch hitter. Let's see, we go A, B, and C. Burton is coming out. Wait, hold on. We did, let's see. I mean, it's more just embarrassing for myself. I mean, hopefully it serves as some kind of a learning lesson for the people watching at home. Pop out to the shortstop. 2 outs. Valentine won't stay in here, and it'll be Jerry Hairston. Actually, we'll see. Maybe he will. They're gonna get Majeski into the game, so we'll see. They might give Harrison the rest of the day off. We'll see. Or someone else. We'll see here. So 2 outs, and it's Jerry Hairston at the plate. He is 3 for 3, 6-4 against a righty. Ground ball to short. And that's a 9 and the 11, and Rollins will make the play. Burton went a third of an inning. And let's see, what does Valentine play here? He could catch, he could play third, he could play first. Nah, he's just going to come out. So Majeski will, or Majewski, however you say it, will hit in the 9 hole. Yeah, wait. Okay. So bottom of the 8th, 6-1 Phillies, and it'll be Ruiz facing Majewski. 5-7 against a righty, and that'll be a single. Pitcher's spot. They're going to go ahead with Hamels and let him hit here. Why did I move this? Oh, I guess I grabbed 2 at the same time. 110, and that's a single for Hamels. So with no stars, Ruiz is going to have to hold up at second base. So first and second, nobody out. And here is J-Roll, who is 0 for 4. 6-9, batting from the left side. That's a grounder to short, could be a double play. Giannis 3, that's an 18. That would be a double play ball, and he will make it. 6-4-3. Ruiz will make his way to third, but with 2 outs, it'll be Shane Victorino, who knocked one out of the park for a solo shot in the 7th. Runner at third, 2 outs. 4-9, batting from the left, and that'll be a grounder to second, and Phillips will make the play to get the Reds out of trouble. But they're going to need 5 runs here to keep this game going. Hamels back out there to try and get the complete game, and he'll face Jay Bruce, Griffey Jr., and Phillips. And so here we go. Top of the 9th. 3-8. That's a grounder right back to Hamels for the out. Let's see, do they have any right-handed batters? they got lefties on the bench here, so it'll be Griffey Jr. against Hamels. 3-5, and he strikes out. 0 for 4 for the Griff. And now it's Brandon Phillips. 2-7, a 1-14 single chance, and it's a 2, so he will get it. And that brings up Votto. Can Votto keep this game going? A potential pass. No, potential balk. Hamels does not have a balk rating. 2 outs. Runner at first. 5-4 against a lefty. That's catcher X. Can Coast get the job, or Ruiz get the job done? He's a 2 and a 6. 2 and a 6. A potential passed ball with a runner at first. Again, Hamels has a 0, so that's going to end the game, as it's going to be a pop out to Ruiz, and that's going to end the ball game. So 6-1 is your final. Hamels with a complete game victory. Bit of a bonehead move by me with somehow I wrote down Ross and put Baco in there, so I'm going to have to go back and watch this video and make the necessary adjustments, but I'm not going to sweat it too much. But I will say, when you have one guy making a change, it can make a lot of differences. You know, you get something going there, and all of a sudden it snowballs. I think we've all seen it happen in a game. So, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Al. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm going to sign off. 6-1 your final here. Phillies win 29-33 now, and we'll see how they do as they take their tools to down to what is it? Turner Field, I guess is what it's called. They'll see if they can beat these Braves coming up. So thanks a lot. Take it easy, and God bless.